lifelong interest in healing, Dr. Linda Salvin pursued an advanced degree in epidemiology. Then, after dramatic near-death experiences, Dr. Linda saw the other side and returned with gifts of insight, visions, and revealed wisdom. Now those gifts are ongoing, and she's here to share them with you. Get ready to be amazed. It's time for Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions podcast with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, offering up her always fascinating blend of psychic psychology, clairvoyant insights, and expert guests and alternative healing methods. So pull up a chair and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Psychic Solutions podcast. And we have a very interesting show today. As you know, I'm a psychic, a healer, and a medium. I've been doing this work for about 30 plus years. And today I'm bringing on Dana. Dana has been, I guess, 15 years, about 15 years has been a client. We became friends. She was in Los Angeles. She moved out of town. She's back in the Midwest of the United States. But she has done candles. She has had readings. She has had me help her through every type of life situation you can imagine, from love, divorce, moving, business, investments, growing a business, closing a business, raising her son, anything you could think about. She's gone through. She's a person. But I've been able to walk her through a lot of it. The beautiful part is she's also very intuitive. She's got borderline psychic ability. She loves metaphysics. She's written books and has been published with spiritual information. So let's bring her on. Let's say hi to Dana and welcome her to the show. Hey, Dana, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've got such an interesting history and just out there in life. But between us, I think it's about 12, 15 years or something. I can't remember.
It's been like 15.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And, your son was young and now he's a teenager and you're not in LA and you're not still married. And so I want you to tell your story the best you can and what you want to explain to the viewers out there, but wrap in your own spiritual background because I know about it, but a lot of people are going to want to learn because you're so open to it and you've written about it. But then you came to me because a friend of yours had met me, and hear the whole story and do your testimony. Then we'll see what's up.
Sure. Linda has lived my life journey with me. truly, every step pretty much. It was about 15 years ago that a friend, like a really good friend of mine, went to an event to see Linda. And it had an audience, It
was a book signing.
It was what?
A book signing.
Oh,
I think I was selling one of my books, yeah.
Okay. So my friend calls me afterwards and says, well, I bumped into her on the way out, into Linda. And right off the bat, she said, you're going to have a job from Japan. And she and I laughed. And we thought, because she didn't have any connection at all to Japan. Well, 2 days later, my friend calls me and she goes, you'll never believe it. A cosmetics company out of Japan just contacted me to hire me as a writer. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm calling this Linda. I'm going to call this Linda. And throughout the years, I've talked to Linda about everything. I know her candles work. They've worked for me. I have a couple of examples of the candles, but
go ahead and explain them. Let me just talk to the new listener who doesn't know what the candles are. Okay. Yes, I'm a psychic and a healer, and Dana met me because her friend had testimony that I remember. I said, oh, you're going to get a job in Japan. She looked at me like I had three eyeballs. I said, because people just think I make stuff up and then it happens. It's like, well, you really are psychic. It's like, yeah, I'm always going to convince the skeptic. Candles in my world are called wicks of wisdom. You get 3 candles per set. You get different bottles of oils. You get herbs and powders, and there's petitions that get burned in the flame with the solution, which is a formula. And whether it's for love, busting negativity, shutting somebody up, bringing in money and success, love, enhanced romance, sex, communication, passion, path power gets you focused and grounded and motivated when you're kind of procrastinating. There's harmony power for dysfunctional situations to bring in balance. I help people win lawsuits, and on the air these last several months, I've had 2 different women at 2 different times and put them together where both of them were kept out of jail for 20 years. They were both up for a 20-year sentence, and the good luck power of the sweetening judgment pushed that over. So when Dana just mentioned candles, it's because with the different situations and obstacles, whether it was at work or her love life or moving, getting a house, the business, whatever, we bumped it up a little bit. What do you talk about?
I had 2 different scenarios to talk about. I've used candles a lot across the spectrum of what Linda provides, but in one case, it was around the pandemic, and my business was going under. I couldn't get the money from the government. It'd been months and months and months, and I was just frantic. And the candles, which don't cost that much, I kind of, at that point, had to scrape money together to buy them, but they don't cost that much. I just didn't happen to have any money. So I bought Money and Success candles. And as Linda says, you burn the candles one after the other after the other. And my candles burn very fast. So upon the finish of the third one, sorry, when someone just walked in.
I heard. I could hear the door.
I have a 7-year-old son. People are going in and out. Upon the finish of the third one, I was like, okay. The next day, I got a check for $10,000. The very next day.
You called me. Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. I remember.
I did. And so the candles worked for me. And the other one I used, and then I'll get into some of the stories about how Linda's helped me with different things. But the other one I used was the rebound candle. I had some people in my life that were sending a lot of negativity to me. Actually, consciously, they were doing that. And I got the rebound candles. Maybe, Linda, you can explain the rebound candles a little bit?
Sure. When we receive curses, bad luck, negativity, backstabbing, people talking behind your back, people trying to make them seem bigger than us and make us feel belittled, or if they want to see us fail, because people get, and I'm getting chills, so that's confirmation of spirit telling the truth, that a lot of people get jealous, and the people around you, and I know one in particular is so jealous of you, she'd do anything to nail you into a coffin and bury you. But every time that energy would come over like a black cloud, Dana would call me, I'd do something or send them or however, and lift this stuff. Now the rebound, as opposed to say good luck power, good luck will remove blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, bad luck. It's a different formula. On rebound, we're sending back that negative energy to that person tenfold. They're not going to die. They don't get sick. They don't even feel it. But what happens is people like me or Dana who's being attacked, we push it back. We can live more comfortably again. That entity that was sending it has a little bit of a moment where they're not happy and they start to feel a little bit of the rebound. It goes back on them, but it doesn't suffocate. There's no harm in what we do. This is not black magic spell work.
No.
But it's enough to say Dana needs a break. Dana needs this thing off of her, like a black coat, and we get it to go back to wherever it came from. And all of a sudden there's peace, there's more balance, there's more concentration, there's more productivity, and you don't feel suffocated. So if you have one of those situations, it could be an ex, it could be a relative, it could be a coworker, people get jealous and they want to see your flame go out. Mm-hmm. It's not just you, not just me. That's why it's out there. For those new to candle magic, it's like baking. You got a recipe for banana bread, chocolate chip cookies, and angel food cake. 3 different recipes. They've all got flour. They've all got sugar. They've all got this. One might have bananas. The other's got vanilla, whatever. So there's different formulas. Same thing in Candle Magic. So I just mentioned Good Luck Power with Dana, Money and Success, Rebound. There's different formulas. So the oils, where you get 4 bottles, are going to differ per set that you order. And it includes what we call petitions. So like in Dana's situation, there's a certain person's name. I taught her what to write regarding that person. You dress the candle with the oils, herbs, and powders, and you burn it. I don't tell you what to put on it, nor do I tell you what's in the oils, because I don't give away the secret sauce, right? But it works. Even if you don't believe, it's going to work. Because I love working with skeptics, and I've been dealing with a lot lately. Dana has been, well, gratefully, ma'am, when you were working in corporate structures here in Los Angeles, big companies, huge, multi-million-dollar organizations. And there were times with VIPs that you were going under the bus, even though you were right. And some of these men that were more...
They were throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, because of their egos, and they could. But we got you to stand up to them, and some of them you actually won until you decided you were just out. And some of them weren't worth it, but we won, or you succeeded, I should say, in some of the, not attacks, but work to get them to get off your back or to quit.
I used shut up power.
Shut them up.
They were lying about me to get me out because they wanted their own people.
Yep.
Very difficult situation.
But it worked. Shut up is another one. Silence means you shut up from the backstabbing and controlling and nitpicking. I mean, they did everything to make Dana want to quit this one particular job. And every time she came up, I said, well, let's do this. And I'd burn them, or she'd burn them, and boom, it shut up, or another door opened until it was done. But you can stand up to a lot of this. It's painful, but a lot of these egos, especially in a man's world like that industry, it's hard. But you survived it. And we put those fires out. Then we've worked on your love life. We've worked on your son. We've worked on you getting a home.
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about that.
I see the window. I see the trees. You're in your home.
That's actually
not on a boat.
I have behind me, but I am in my home.
Okay.
When I got divorced, I suspected my husband at the time was having an affair. And Linda confirmed that affair, but then she said,
thank you, Joanne. We'll get to that later. Go ahead.
What? Oh,
no, people are commenting that you can't see. They're saying that they've worked the candles and they were
good. Okay.
Yeah, it's
but you said to me, he's not having an affair with just one person, it's 2. And both of the women have a very unusual name starting with M. And I was like, and you said, and one is in New York City. And I'm in LA. I'm like, my husband hasn't gone anywhere. Like, how would he be having an affair in New York City? Like, so at that point I was like, Linda, you know. As it turned out, there were 2 women whose names started with M that were very unusual names. And the one in New York City, he was having a sexting affair with online. She was an old girlfriend of his. And the other one was in town. So, I mean, because, I hate to say it, but because Linda kind of guided me, I was able to discover what was going on. And he admitted it, you know. But then I had to move out, or it was my choice to move out. And I'm like, where can I live with the amount of money I have? And Linda said, you're going to live on the water. You're going to live on the ocean. And I said, there's no effing way I can afford to live on the ocean. Like, get it. And she said, nope, see you living right there on the water. So about a week after that, a friend of mine said, you know, there's these apartments down in Marina del Rey. They're brand new and they're running a special, you know, like for 2 years. I'm like, really? Like, afford that? So I walk in, the apartment is literally has a view right on the water, like right there. and I can afford it because of the deal. And it was nice, 2-bedroom, sweet. And so that all came true, so, I was already a believer in Linda, obviously she's proven herself. But it was, yeah. So that was pretty cool that, because it was such a confirmation of Linda's abilities that it was pretty remarkable.
Well, then you really lived on the water.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was,
yeah, you ended up on the water in a boat.
right. Well, after a while, after the 2 years, I couldn't afford that apartment anymore. And my son said, Mom, we could live on a boat. I think you advised me against this, Linda.
I did.
I didn't take your advice. And I'm like,
the stories you could tell about the boat and the sailing and then leaving the dock and the people in the little rowboat giving you a ticket because you were out of the whatever, or the the refrigerator, the toilet.
It was mitigated. It was a really great boat, but like, this is what I thought I knew boating. I'm from Michigan, grew up around boats, grew up in boats. Yeah, what I knew was like port starboard and fuck all. Sorry.
That's okay.
We're
it's
not
internet. No,
okay.
You're fine. It's not AM. It's not terrestrial.
Okay. Yeah, no, my 8-year-old son got a ticket because he was peeing off the back of the boat.
Oh, that's what it was.
and he's like, why can't I do that? It's right there. I'm like, but the sheriffs were going by at that point, and I got a $250 ticket. So that was no good. Linda advised me strongly against this boat, but I was like, but it's like a quarter of what I'm paying now, like for the slip. And no, should not have done that. Should have listened to Linda.
There were moments you couldn't sleep and you couldn't control it. And then there were, I don't know, a storm or some rocky times came and you couldn't control that thing and you were rocking and rolling. It was a sailboat, right?
No, it was a cruiser.
A cruiser.
It was called a motor yacht. And
oh, right. I can see it.
I was always too scared to take it out by myself. So, but what you're talking about, we had like huge Santa Ana winds one night, and the boat was just squeaking and rocking, and everything's falling off the shelves. And my son was terrified, and that was a nightmare. So like I said, I should have listened to you.
Well, you got out of it. You finally eventually sold it, and it was just yes, you'll sell it. Yes, you'll sell it. We even did candles just bring the right buyer to sell that thing.
I know, and it was
You also have a boyfriend that you've known from the past that you reconciled with, and I probably nailed the date as to when he'd be divorced. Why don't you get into that little story? It's not so little now. I mean, it's
wow. So this man and I were college sweethearts, and then for years, and then we both went our own ways, and we didn't speak again for 32 years. And after my divorce, which he didn't know about, he contacted me on LinkedIn, and we got together, and it kind of, I guess we had a tumultuous, we truly loved each other when we got together finally after 32 years. But he was still in the middle of his divorce from his wife, and it got messy. And so he didn't want to see me for a while. So, which was understandable. We're still together 10 years later. So that's great. But the only way I had of knowing what was going on with him was through Linda, because he really needed his headspace during those several months. And Linda would tell me what he was doing, what he was thinking, Yeah, I mean, Linda kind of kept me going during that time because it was very difficult for me emotionally. But having that bit of information, which was true upon confirmation with him later, kind of saved me during that really emotional period of time.
It was rough, and you learned things that shocked you about his relationship. You learned a lot. I mean, what was really behind the scenes were things that I couldn't even pick up until you got some confirmation from it. But I still think the best part was, I think I nailed his divorce 2 years in advance as to when it would finalize, and then he walked up to that time frame, September, October, whatever year it was, and it happened. You know, he has not left you. He has not abandoned you. You guys are not in the same city, but you get together. You just got back from a trip. I mean, you are soulmates. This is what a soulmate is. You can meet 20, 30, 40, 50 years earlier, and you're together at that point in time, and then life takes off, and you go on to different journeys, and you have different experiences, whether it's legal or medical or health or marriage or business, whatever. Life takes off. You start out over here, and you end up over here, and all of a sudden you're old. You know, right? All of a sudden, it's like, what happened to my youth? You know, we thought we had it together, and now it's like, oh, it's behind us. Right. Now you're still together, because true soulmates will always find each other. You don't have to see them, but the feeling inside lives in your heart and your soul, even if it's somebody you knew at 17 and you were in college. So you were like 20, 21, same thing. You met him. You thought it'd be, you went different ways. He came back, or you found him, however it happens. And people go, why'd I have to wait so long? I said, it's karma, it's spirit. Yeah. And people don't always understand that we live in a linear time frame of clocks and months and timing. The spiritual world has no clock. It just is. So it's not up to us. It's up to God, the universe, however you want to define it. But it came back, and Dana has fought this thing tooth and nail. I don't know if he loves me. I don't think he loves me. And then I'll say something. One time is he having an affair? And I go, no, he's not having an affair. And she's right back, you're right. He's not having an affair. But the mind will start wondering, and we get paranoid, or how come he hasn't called? Well, he's busy, or he's buried, or he's got this debt, or he's got the family, or, there's something distracting him. But it doesn't take away the love he has for you, and he has proven time and time how much he loves you. Eventually, you'll merge together. You're not always going to be this distance. At least you're in the same state, because you left LA.
That's at least
you're closer. You know, it's just not as convenient. But he struggles, especially because his ex put him through the mill, as we know.
She was physical.
Abusive.
Yeah, she was vindictive, and this was before he was getting divorced. He went through many, many years of abuse. And I don't think he would have left her, because he's pretty religious. For anybody probably but me. Yeah, his brain doesn't work that way.
He's in love with you. He always has been in love with you. I think, when we're young or we're partying in college and we don't know what our future looks like. And some of us think there's even better, greener pastures out there once we're out of school. And maybe the ones in school really were it, but we didn't know it was it until we go backwards and find a new it. That's life. That's experience. That's growth. But he never got over you. He never stopped thinking about you. He admitted that to you. Mm-hmm. Or even said, he's never gotten over you. He's never not thought about you. And you will, there's a possibility as your son gets a little older and he cleans up more of what's going on in his life, you guys can marry, and this will end up a happy ending. It will. It's just getting there. And it's like, how much longer? It's not up to me, but he's there. And in the meantime, you're refocusing on your own journey and where you're headed and career-wise. And I still think there's 3 or more books coming out. There's more writing coming. I know you've got...
Linda, I have 3 books coming out in 2 weeks.
I haven't talked to you in a long time. You do?
Whoa. Yeah, I do.
Oh my God, talk about it.
Oh,
well, about the sisters? Is the one about the sisters finally? Did that publish?
It's getting published. It's in the draft stage now. Like, I get the, what do you call it? The review copy.
Yeah, the manuscript.
tomorrow. It's actually about my family. My
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I always said writing. You went here, you went there. I said, no, Dana, it's writing. 3.
Yeah. The first one is, should I say what it's called? I don't know. The Psychic Sisters of Oleander Street. And it's based on stories I heard from my grandmother and my great-grandmother, who made their livings as mediums. They could talk to the dead. And, my dad would never really talk about it, but I have several sisters who are very psychic and they inherited that, but not me particularly. So my book is based on what sisters have to go through to fight their demons, like that are both real in the metaphysical world. Does that make sense? And their own demons of their past. And the other book is really different for me. I don't think you know about this one, Linda. It's called The State-Sanctioned Free Thought Bookstore. And it's about a dystopian universe of banned books, and people have all their rights taken away from them.
Like what we're going through.
Yeah, and 2 young teenage lovers who have the ability to overthrow the government, and they're racing against time to get to the right place.
Give me the title again.
The State-Sanctioned Free Thought Bookstore.
Oh, I can't wait to read these.
That's where one of the kids works.
Okay. And what's the third? Wow, these are going to be successful. I'm telling you, I have people. Whenever Dana would call, she'd be frustrated in PR or marketing or film or stores, retail, whatever. I said, Dana, you're a writer. Go back to writing. No, it doesn't pay. No,
yeah, you've said that. You've said it over and over.
No matter where she's gone out there, it's writing. Now we're hearing for the first time there's.
And I fight you and I say, writing isn't consistent with money. It's like I need a paycheck. So I've been fighting you about that. So
we fight like sisters, hang up on each other through you.
Oh boy.
That's a big karmic thing here.
The nice thing is we always cool off and forgive each other and love each other.
Yeah, come back. That's real friendship.
Yeah, where were we? I lost my train of thought.
The third book.
Oh, it's the sequel to another book I have, which is the title. The first one is A Miss Mary Mack Mystery, and it's Murder in Malibu. And then the second one is A Miss Mary Mack Mystery, Murder in Amsterdam. And I write funny. Like, well, the dystopian one's not funny, but I love to write humor. So my characters are very funny. I think anyway.
This is terrific. I will.
And you didn't know. And look, you didn't know I had 3 books coming out.
No, I did not. I haven't talked to you really. I was in Alaska in March, and I got this text. I thought it was you because it was your phone number. It was actually somebody else. I entered Dana's phone number with someone else's name or Dana's. Yeah. Something. And so I kept texting this woman. I said, no, I'm in Alaska. Well, I need a reading. I said, I'm not here. And I kept thinking it was Dana. So I called Dana. I said, I'm ready to book your reading. Oh, okay. And then when I asked for, I can't pay for that. I said, well, why'd you text? I didn't text. I was like, but I was in Alaska. When were you in Alaska? And then I had to figure out that the whole thing got all figured out. And then we worked that one out. But that's what happens. Nobody's perfect, but the beauty is your gift and gifts of everything. This is going to pay off for you. I've been telling you forever. This is your path, and you're going to make your name. It's all going to come back, Dana.
Okay, when you're right, I'll thank you. But I will tell people, if you're doubting your path, which I have been for a long time, because I used to be a salaried employee. It was very safe. It was good money. And then I wasn't. And Linda has been saying for years, Dana, because I have another book that's published by William Morrow. So I actually am like a real writer. That one's called Born Under Lucky Moon. That one was published before I kind of aged out of my industry. And Linda kept saying, just right. And I'm like, no, I need the stability of a, real job, but doors were closing on me. Like every avenue I tried was fighting me. And Linda kept saying, just right. So finally, like a year ago, I'm like, all right. And it started pouring out of me, like the state sanctioned Free Thought bookstore. I wrote in less than 6 weeks. It was like
a catharsis.
It was like I was channeling somebody else writing that book. Because when it was done, I was like, oh, wow, that's really good. But I hadn't planned it ahead of time. And, so her encouragement to pursue what I really was good at was enormously helpful. And I think if anybody is struggling with their own path out there, it's good to talk to Linda. And she might say something improbable, like you're going to get a job in Japan, to my friend. But trust her, right? Like, I didn't trust her on the book thing for a long time, and we'll see. I'll report back how it goes. The launch. But Linda has, beyond my career and my relationships and everything. When I came back home to Michigan, I didn't want to be in the same position I was in before, meaning job position. And so I was going to open up a little grocery market, because my little town needed it. And Linda confirmed that was a good idea. But she said, but that landlord? No.
Oh, right.
No. He's going to screw you over. I'm like, but it's the perfect location. It's got this really cool thing. And like, it's got antique walls, and it's perfect. It's perfect.
Aesthetically, it was great. It was great.
And then this guy started stringing me along. And I would talk to Linda, and I'm like, is he telling me the truth? Like, what's going on? You said he's holding it up on purpose. You don't know why, but he's holding it up on purpose. And he's holding it up for the other tenants that were going to go in that building. But he was still telling us everything was fine and that we would be on time to move in. But it was clear we weren't going to be, because the place was torn apart. And finally, Linda said, walk away. And I'm like, but I already gave him a deposit. And she said, walk away. And I did. And I immediately got an even better location, space, at a better rent.
And you got your money back because you were afraid
to sue the guy, but I did get the money back. That was about a year later. But you were so right, because everyone who stayed got screwed over. The building wound up getting repossessed, and all of the people who had stayed with him to get in there, which didn't occur for quite a while after I walked away, had to move out.
Wow.
Like on a dime. And again, I resisted Linda. I'm like, I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure he's not that bad of a person. It's funny because your own thought process sometimes doesn't allow for the improbable or what you can't imagine. So when Linda would say things to me like, you're going to live on the water, I'm like, yeah, no. It's taken me a long time to get past my own opinions and my own prejudice.
Ideas, yeah.
Not prejudice, that's the wrong word.
Ideas, the ideas.
Yeah. And accept what Linda's saying, because that's not my personality, like just to trust one person, But she's been right every time, and I've been with her for 15 years. So
that says something.
I keep coming back, babe.
Yeah. That's the slogan. Come back. Keep coming back.
And at the beginning of this program, I did want to talk about the candles because they were so helpful to me. And then I started realizing we were sounding like an infomercial, and I didn't And so it's
Oh,
like,
that's fine. I still have to promote them because there's people out there that don't know a thing about
well,
me or the
and
candles.
you should, but I didn't,
Logic.
her candles really work. That's all I can say. And I'm not saying that because I'm a paid spokesperson. Not
No,
paid.
no.
God, do you want to pay me? That'd be awesome. No, we're friends.
I may pay you to read my manuscript now that it's done and edit the book.
Oh,
Who knows? Who
yeah,
knows? It's done. Yeah.
bring it up.
But I can't wait to see all this published for you. And then, I'll give you a set of money and success to get the sales in. I will gift you because you deserve it after all this. So let me know as we get closer. And remind me.
There's more. Wait,
Okay.
Is my time?
No, we have another 15 minutes.
Okay. I got cancer, and it was bad.
And the brain. I forgot. I completely forgot. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Go on. So,
I forgot too. Don't feel bad. I had small cell lung cancer, which usually kills you in 3 months, but
I'm going to stop right there because I'm going to tell them what you did to me and probably other people. Out of the blue, during the day, I get a text. Hi, I have cancer. I'm probably going to die. It's in my brain. I want to thank you for everything you've done. And if I don't talk to you ever again, you'll know I love you and thank you, Dana. I'm like, what? I called her up and I said, you're not going to die. She said, oh, yeah, I am. The doctor said, well, go on. I still remember that text, Dana.
mm-hmm.
Oh, go on.
So
last year or 2 years ago?
I was diagnosed early 2022.
2 years.
And no, Linda said, you're not going to die. I said, pretty sure I am. They gave me 3 months. But I went through the chemo and I went through the radiation and I lived. And Linda was right. And something that doesn't actually have anything to do with Linda necessarily, but I want to put it out there. I have, oddly, another lung disease because I had small cell lung cancer here and in my brain. And this other lung disease doesn't have a treatment, and it's called LAM, L-A-M, and it's got a really, really long name. But there's no treatment for it, but it's not good. Let's put it that way. And I always figured with that disease, well, if there's no treatment, I'm not going to worry about it, right? If it grows, it grows. If I can't, whatever, I can't do anything about it. But around the time I started feeling shortly before I was diagnosed with cancer, for about 3 months, I felt a tapping on my shoulder. Go get a CAT scan for your lungs. And I'd ignore it. I'm like, I can breathe fine. It's not growing. I can tell. Go get a CAT scan. Go get a CAT scan. I'm like, there's no treatment. What's the point? This is all in my head, but I felt it so strongly that I actually had to find a pulmonologist, had to book the pulmonologist. And I got a CAT scan. And that's how they found the cancer. And small cell lung cancer will kill you in about 3 months. So I'd already waited about 2 months to get that CAT scan. But when they looked at the scan, I was only about 2 days in to that 3 months. That's why they could cure it. But I never would have gone in for that CAT scan if I hadn't paid attention to this.
To the spiritual side of life, trying to talk to you, which I think you learned even more by me helping you through the years, that there's more to I'm the flashlight. I get to show you, but then you're very aware anyway. You grew up with mediums. You grew up around the spiritual world. You grew up around it. Then all of a sudden you clicked into trusting your own. You started trusting your own.
Yeah. I'm gonna clarify that just a little bit though. I didn't really grow up around mediums.
Your grandmother?
Yeah. They passed. Let's put it this way. My dad didn't believe in it. Okay. So we were just a Midwestern family with these kooky relatives,
Yeah.
you know? And so when I met you, you opened my eyes to a lot of other realms. What's the word I'm looking for?
Dimensions.
A lot of other dimensions.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't aware of, but was able to kind of put two and two together from things I'd heard when I was growing up with what you were talking about. You know, like even the word metaphysical, I'd heard that as a kid, but I didn't know what it meant. And so when you actually first used it with me, I said, can you define that for me? Matter of fact, can you define that for the audience? Because
sure, metaphysics is a combination of spirituality and psychology is really what it is. And it blends the esoteric, the spiritual, not religious, but the spiritual side of life as to why things happen by coincidence. Why would I have been at a book signing lecture of showing off my psychic abilities at a bookstore in Manhattan Beach, of all places? I was way down the pages, and a friend of Dana's happens to be there. And at the last minute, I just looked and said, "Oh, you're getting a job from Japan." And they'll look at her, whatever. Next thing I know, Dana shows up. Is it odd or is it God? What's the synchronicity? What's the purpose? How does it work? So metaphysics is looking at life from a more spiritual perspective as to why are things happening? How is it happening? And how does it apply to me? As a metaphysical clinician, as a psychic, for those that don't know me, I became psychic in a plane crash in 1981, and I had a couple other near-death experiences, and I was, in retrospect, it was all like an initiation to help people down the road 40 years later. So somebody comes to me with a problem, Dana says, blah, 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 and I immediately have this diagnostic gift to tune right in and spiritually and psychically know, oh yeah, you're going to live on the water. No, you're not going to keep this job, but you will get a new job in about a month and a half. No, just right. Now you're going to have 3 books. No, we got 3 books. How do I know this? I don't know. I'm a psychic, but the metaphysics is watching the universe, watching for the signs. If you had a tap on the shoulder and something's gnawing at you, call them, call her, go for a test. Don't eat this, don't drink that, take a trip here, go here, and you're going to run into somebody. Follow the instinct, follow that message, and all of a sudden it can open up a door. That's the metaphysics. And we've got some time, but I want to say the poem that I taught you and I've said on this show for 30 years. When you can't understand metaphysics, there's a poem called God, Are You Real? God, the child whispered, God, speak to me. And a meadowlark sang, and the child did not listen. So the child said, God, speak to me. And the thunder rolled across the sky, but the child did not hear. So the child said, God, speak to me. And the star shone brightly, but the child did not see. So the child said, God, show me a miracle. And a child was born, but the child did not know. So the child said or exclaimed, touch me, God, show me your wheel. Whereupon God reached down and touched the child, but the child brushed the butterfly away and walked away unknowingly. Again, it's the awareness. It's becoming without the blinders. Metaphysics brings the physical and the spiritual worlds together, but it also has a psychological base of our behavior. Dr. Carl Jung was probably one of the fathers of metaphysics and synchronicity, because he defined when the dolphins would come out of the water and sink. Nobody had really defined it. And that's how it all really unfolded back in the early 1900s. Not that Socrates and all the others back in the ancient days didn't see it, but as we've evolved now, it's still a rather newer field. And unfortunately, with the internet, everybody's a psychic, everybody's a medium, and it's not true, people. The Instagram and the TikTokers, they may have a gift to a point, but if you want a true medium or a true psychic, be careful, because we're giving you information for your life that could mess up. I was with a party the other night, and this woman said, my son called a psychic in New York. You got to hear this, Dana, because you're going to understand, and then we'll wrap it into what you just said. This woman in New York told this man out here in a place that is so far from water, at least 80 miles from the ocean, you better sell your mother's condo because it's going to be a tsunami. No matter what kind of tsunami hit the Santa Monica area, it is not going to go to Santa Clarita. It will not. The water will not. go to
No.
Santa Clarita.
No, that's
I
what, 100 miles away.
How many miles? It's a long way. It might go into Brentwood, maybe UCLA if it was that bad. But most of the coastline, yeah. But you're thinking Santa Clarita up the 14 in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the mountains. But some psychic told this boy to sell the mother's condo that he inherited when she passed. And he's still living in a one-room apartment waiting for the tsunami. And I told this woman, that's not how I work. There will be no tsunami. And you cannot have a tsunami in Santa Clarita. I mean, if we had the huge earthquake and we fell in the ocean, that's different. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, let's hope not.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, let's hope not. But when you're looking for the truth in metaphysics, it's is it God? Is it odd? What's your part as a human being watching how the universe works and saying, Dana has knocked on doors. Dana has called up, I'm dying. I don't care. You can screw this and fuck that and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, and screw you too and hang up and I'm sorry. And then we talk, but Dana's going to work out. Now, how do you know? I said, I know it's going to work out. You're not dead.
That's the original step. I'm like, I don't believe you. Even it doesn't matter how many years have gone by.
But you got 3 books coming out and you're cancer free. And
yeah.
One of the things you said is you wanted to live long enough to raise your son, and you are. I mean, it's all okay. It's not how you pictured it any more than my life looks like how I pictured it, but we're here. And in service.
In talking about metaphysics, can I just give an example?
We have 3 minutes, so we'll have to start tying it up.
Okay. My boyfriend has been desperately looking for an associate in his practice and couldn't find one. He's a doctor. And we were on a plane with 400 people, and the kid sitting next to my boyfriend had just graduated in that field and was desperately looking for a job. And he interviewed him today and hired him. So what are the odds?
Is it odd? And you went to Europe? And you didn't even want to go. Oh, Linda, I don't think I should go because of blah, blah, and the family and the did. I said, you're to go. No, I'm not going to go.
That's true.
And you had to go. Then you had to go.
Yeah.
And you went. And look what happened to him. I'm not going to say his name. And here's a kid fresh out of school looking for a job. He needs it. Who's going to be a better mentor than him? And then who knows if this kid does so well, you can buy the practice and you guys can go live happily ever after. You don't know.
Right. So he hired him today.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And you just think, okay, that kid could have been seated even in
anywhere,
the
or not. Started talking. So is it odd or is it God? Does the universe put you? Yes. If you open your mind and open your heart and listen, you can make a connection. Whether you walk through the door or not is up to you. I bypassed many opportunities because I got scared or didn't trust. But as I got older, it's like, okay, I met this one. Now let's see what's there. Same thing with you. Just open up and receive. Dana, these books are going to be huge. I'll bring you back later when we'll help the books.
Thank you. Your lips to God's ears.
I'm not God, but we all try to get there. And we all try to become one with God. The spiritual part of life is opening up mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So we've got all 4 aspects: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and we become whole. I want to thank you for taking the time. Stay backstage. I love you to death. We have another 15, 20 years to argue and say, I was right. Told you so. And you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. This woman has come through cancer, divorce, pregnancy, being cheated on, lied to, betrayed, everything, living on a boat.
Yeah, if anybody needs advice out there that, about any particular disaster.
Call Dana. I'm done. Thank you. I'll see you soon. You stay backstage.
So much,
This is Linda Salvin. I'm the host of Psychic Solutions Podcast, and that was Dana calling in to share her experiences. And man, she had them with the candles, with the readings, with the fighting with me to say no, 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 yes, yes, yes. And you heard it. It comes true. If you would like information for your own path, contact me off the air. You'll see the information momentarily. That's it for today. Talk to you soon. Psychic Solutions Podcast. I'm Linda Salvin. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions Podcast. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.